if they keep pushing at that level and that pace.
Good evening and welcome to TD Online. Yes, it is Wednesday night, your favorite show. This time we are pre-recording due to circumstances in South Africa. Latifah, thanks for juggling your schedule and juggling the situation to make it work for us. How you been? How was your week thus far?
So far this week has been great. I've seen some great rugby over the weekend with a lot of improvements that has been made. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, if we're getting straight into it, then we might as well. This weekend, there were some interesting results that took place. We did see in the women's Premier Division that Boland EP, I mean, 25-15. That was quite an interesting game. Then also the Bulls getting one over the Sharks. Looks like the Bulls are turning their season around. But the one that you focused on in specific was the top of the table clash between Western Province
and Border Ladies. Yes, they were the only undefeated teams in the tournament until Saturday, where Western Province defeated the Border Ladies by a good number of points. So the final score was 35. So, yeah.
I mean, it's quite interesting. A final before the final.
They remained, once again, the only team who was not defeated in any of the rounds up until now. And I feel like if they keep pushing at that level and that pace, they might make it to the final, staying top of the log.
Well, it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, helping them get to the final, or let's say letting them remain unbeaten this far. Who were some of the standout players that you followed in the match and that impressed you quite a bit?
The main standout player that impressed me was Rppskrantz, who started their winning streak for that game with their first try and closed it off with the last try of the game.
Well, I mean, phenomenal performance. It's been quite consistent thus far this season. Anyone else?
I can't get to a name now.
It's quite a number of players.
I can't get to a name right now.
Keep it, because I have someone very special that's going to be joining us in just a bit that can tell us a bit more, because I mean, it's quite new for us getting to know all of these players. For me, it was quite nice seeing our Springbok prop, Babal Balacha, the ex-captain, filling the role of the water girl. Quite interesting.
She needs to be a part of the team somehow.
Yeah, I guess that's just what needs to be done. Looking at the log thus far, I mean, Western Province comfortably on top on 24 points, unbeaten thus far. Do you think that you'll see any changes for, let's say, the Bulls women, for example, that are now only 7 points behind Border, and they could possibly sneak into that final slot?
Possibly, yes. They've only won 2 games so far in the tournament out of the 5 rounds. And I think their last 2 games showed their capability to push harder and continue going forward to claim a spot, hopefully, in the final and be maybe second on the log, even first.
You know, you mentioned that it's only the second game they won of the season, but it just shows how important and how vital those bonus point defeats are. Because yes, they lost, but getting bonus points in all of those games going forward, it's quite interesting to see that they now stand a chance at qualifying for the finals if they just continue to win a few more games.
If they push and their determination is there, you've seen it in the last 2, not the previous 2 games, where they willing and they trying.
Yep, most definitely. And we have no doubt about that. But this evening, we're joined by a very special lady. She goes by the name of Nell Rossouw. She is the team manager of Western Province. And she's going to tell us a bit more about how they prepared to take on the table toppers and what went into breaking their undefeated run. Nell, thanks so much for joining us this evening. We really, really appreciate it.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure. Now let's get straight into it. I mean, with Western Province going into match day undefeated, taking on the only undefeated team in the tournament. Many would say that this was, like we mentioned earlier, the final before the final. How did you get your ladies in the right mindset to get ready for this fixture?
I think it's very important, with keeping your eyes set on the task at hand. I mean, the game against the Sharks was one of the toughest, and we walked away there with a win. And we're very grateful for that, but we never got the bonus point. So coming from a 10-5 victory there into a final, as you referred to, was challenging. It was very challenging because you go and you kind of want to walk away with a bonus point, and then you come clashing, into border. We had a very high expectation for the game, and don't be fooled by the score. 35 might seem like a very big win, but it's not. And I must say that I'm so proud of our girls, because Western Province's defense throughout the season has been absolutely amazing. I mean, if it wasn't for our defense against the Sharks, we would have seen a different scoreboard, that I can tell you.
No, I mean, Latifah has been following the tournament quite closely, and she has so many questions with regards to defense. I'm sure she can't wait to get asking. Go for it, Latifah.
Now, your defense that I've noticed in this past game, you guys, or the team, the ladies, they defended mainly in their half of the territory. Is that part of your game structure, game plan? And how would you keep that defense line going